Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I have to use this is a new mic that I'm using here. It's not the best as my my main one. It's kind of broken, so I have to use this one for now. I hope it's not too bad for you guys. Hopefully you can hear me, so it's all good. Until I replace, I had to use this one, so I apologize. But yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me. So getting to the video, this is the best build that I think for Annette currently. Now I have like 3 matches in this video, 3 or 4. The best variation of this build, I think, is the last match of the video is the best variation. But I'll show you guys different variations here so you guys can tell. I tried more variations than what I'm going to show you here, but I didn't think they were actually worth showing the match. But I'll comment on those variations for you guys, just so you guys are aware of them. So as you can see there on the equipment, I have the 2 viral canisters, the increased damage, and the increased recovery of the bioweapon recharge. So variations you can use on this is also putting energies such as the reactors. You could like increase the infection a little more, which is something that I will do on one of the variations in this video, which is actually really good. You can also go full damage, but that doesn't make much of a difference. And what else can you use? You can use health as well if you want. Those are really the main variations that are worth the while. And but yeah, I'll show you the 3 best ones here that I think. This is, I don't think this really need damage. You see I'm using damage right now on this first match. I'm using level 3 damage there on the equipment. The increase which noticeably increases the damage. But I think that only changes like 1 swing less. It takes like 8 swings. It goes for like 7 swings when you're using that on the build, which I don't think is that much to be worth using, you know. But anyway, this first match is already going to showcase really good the effect that the book has, the 4 slot of the equipment that I was using, which is the little book thing, which reduces the recharge of the bioweapon. That's kind of actually quite huge. Which brings me to, let me go over the equipment real quick. I'm using, as far as presets, I always use the infection presets. As you can tell there, I have the zombies on my doors. Quick explanation as well, the reason why I use the skinny ones is because they give less time. So by infecting them, they're already going to lose 5 seconds, right? And if I can also swing at them and get more time out of that as well. But the infection itself already loses 5 seconds, so if they kill my zombie, you know, the time really is 0, you know, it's neutral, because they got infected, they lost 5 second guarantee. I lost my zombie, they gained 5 seconds guarantee, so it's like 0. But if I still get swings and everything, especially if I get a bite, you know, so I'm taking more time than just the infection itself. So on the overall balance, I'm gaining time, you know, they're losing more time than they're gaining. So that's why I use the skinny ones. Now the build, and that's really, this build is really more about winning on time than actually, you know, killing them. You're really just winning, focusing on the time, which is why the infection is so crucial. Definitely do not want to mess with the infection when you're playing my builds here with the net. So that's why, going back to the equipment, I have the viral canister 3 and 2, which is the greatly and the medium increase. And now this brings me to one of the passive perks that I'm using, which is the second square from the top to bottom on the perks. The passive ability, where it increases the effectiveness of all the buffs. So that's a 30% increase. So that also works on the affection, which is the aura, right? So that essentially is like using another medium viral canister if you're using that passive, so which is quite huge. If you combine everything the way I have right now, the infection level gets really pretty much like Alex level, which is kind of crazy. So that's the idea. This build is really kind of a mix of Daniel, because you see I'm controlling creatures a lot, and with a mix of Alex from the affection, but with a few extras that only Annette has, such as the effect of the buffs, super like 30% increase, and the extra health on the creatures, you know. So it's like a mix of Alex and Daniel with the benefits of Annette. Essentially, that's the idea of this build. Now I showed a bit of the deck earlier. Feel free to pause the video anytime here if you guys want to see the deck or whatnot, anything better as you are watching the video, or if you're rewatching it again to have a better look. So you notice as well on the deck right now, I have the, what's it called, the supply zombie. That's really just a, you know, not really super necessary, but it's something I like to have because it's kind of a free card that I have there. I don't have anything better to put it on. Hopefully there's a a truck on the street here. Hopefully it's not making too much noise on the video. But moving on, you see also the special card. I have the fat one, because then he gives me the berserker on my other zombies as well, which is really good. Now you can see the time that, despite all I'm saying about this build being really focused on time, you can tell that they have like 5 minutes, which is quite a lot of time. But you see how that's going to change real quick once I get Birkin, which is really the strength of this new build, is when you can, because now you can use the book to reduce the speed of the buy weapon, and you're gonna see. So the way you take advantage of that, because now, I mean, which brings me to one of the other passives that I'm using, which is the one for Birkin, where he comes back faster when you exit him faster. That's one of the other passives that I'm using. Now, to take full advantage of that, you want to quit him when it's like 40 seconds, 45 seconds, definitely before 35 seconds. That's kind of the sweet spot where you're gonna get the most like optimal benefit from exiting him earlier. If you exit at like 55 seconds, it makes no difference, than exiting at like 40. So you might as well do it on the 40s or so. You're still gonna get the optimal effect. So that's what I'm doing here, and you're essentially just getting Birkin. You see right now, I already exit Birkin, and by the time she's finishing doing this thing right here, the security device, I'm already gonna have Birkin back. So it's kind of, you see right there, also because I have the supply zombie, that gives me a few special cards, such as the one that I just used, which can help me get a few kills. Sometimes you get the Ivy as well, or you can get the mod that gives you more energy. So it's kind of, it kind of helps a bit having that. I'm actually working on a build for Spencer that revolves only around special cards. I'm sure you guys are gonna love that. So again, I'm using Birkin, and you see you can also spread the damage like I'm doing here, get some kills. You can also grab them. Ideally, you want to grab them, but it's not best for all scenarios. But like I'm doing right here, because when you grab them, you see the timer on the left there stops. So essentially, you're wasting your time, but your time on Birkin is not really going down. So you can also still get the benefit from exiting him earlier after you get the kill. Not just that, but they lose 30 seconds as well, right? So ideally, you want to do this on the person that's holding the card, which is not what I did here, because she was too far. But either way, I took my 30 seconds, and because she was not close to any security device, And now I can focus solely on her, especially now that there's only one security device left, which is on that little room there. And I'll still go over more on the equipment, so don't worry about that. If you think I didn't explain that too much already, I'm gonna go get to that soon. So you see, I'm just like loading up the room here, which is something that brings me to the variation that I mentioned about using the reactors. If you're using the reactors instead of all the other, like I said, don't mess with the viral canisters on the equipment, but you can vary to the last two. If you use the reactors though, you notice that you get a little bit more energy. So like right now, but when I was just throwing zombies in the room, you notice that you have here and there, you're always going to have a little bit more energy that will allow you to spawn like that extra creature if you're using the energy variation. But I don't think it's worth it. I just stick to the especially the last build, like I said, is the best one on the video here. The last match is the best build variation. Just stick with that, and you should be fine. You don't really need the energy and things like that. Now this creature is pretty interesting as well, because you have the long range attack as well, and she has a grab that wastes a lot of time. But and also creatures that still give only 5 seconds, right, when they get killed. So again, what I mentioned, you use Birkin, and ideally want to get the grab, so that you see the timer is not moving, and I can still like get my 30 seconds here. And she has the card as well, so not just that, but especially against the SWAT teams, they're gonna have a lot of flashbangs and items like right now. They're gonna keep trying to save the person, which is good though, because you get Birkin so fast, he becomes essentially, even if they're saving them from the grab, they have to waste items to do that. So if you're just spawning Birkin again and again and keep grabbing people, eventually they're gonna run out of items, which is gonna help you in the long run. So as you can see here, just like I said, like eventually they just run out of items from saving the others from the grabs, and they can't really save anymore at some point. And especially if you grab the guy with the card, it's essentially a kill after kill, and there's like nothing they can do while Birkin is there. You see, like they're just throwing everything at me. It really doesn't matter. It's really strong. And not just that, but I'll exit Birkin and I'll get him back super quickly. You see, again, I can do the grab. You just keep like repeating. There's nothing they can do unless they have an item. And if you're just doing that so often that they're wasting all their items, it won't matter. They'll run out of items eventually. So that's the idea there. Not you're using Birkin really to waste as much time as the infection, also to, you know, pressure them off the objectives, things like that, but also to make them waste items so that they cannot use that on your zombies later, you know. So that's the idea there. Now this is the version where this is the health that I mean. It's just the resilience skin that I said you could do that, which will make the zombies even stronger. I'm already using, like I mentioned, the passive where it increases the health for the zombies, the final passive there on the left side of the perks. But you can still combo with the resilience skin on top of it, and it just becomes even, you know, more like kind of overkill, you know. But the resilience skin level 3 increases the health by 21%. Now keep in mind that if you see that I also have the regen on my build, so the regen is kind of a percentage based. So the higher the health your zombie has, the more the regen will actually recover of that zombie's health over time, the regen buff. So you combine, imagine you combining the resilience skin, combining with plus the passive for increased health, and you're also combining that with the passive effect of the other passive perk that you're using, which increases by 30% the effectiveness of the buffs. So the regen is going to be 30% like more effective by itself. You also have like, and like I said, it's a percentage base, so that percentage base is going to act upon those two increases that you're doing from the passive and from the equipment itself. That's the resilience skin. So the zombies with regen are going to be like super hard to kill, especially the fat ones, or, you know, yeah, especially the fat ones, because they have the most health. Or if you have a liquor or something, like you see me, you have me, the liquor there, you saw on, I have all these special cards that I can use on area 3, and he also has the regen liquor that spreads the regen to the other zombies. So I never actually got to use that card yet, because this build is so strong, especially with Birkin, like I showed you on the first game. Usually I don't think like anyone got to area 3. I can't remember a single team that got to area 3 against me using this build. So I haven't really got to test the liquor, but I know for sure it would be very strong, you know. There's not, you don't need to think that much to know that it would be a very strong combo. Now you see I'm changing the deck a little bit as we go on, and you see this creature right here as well with he has all the buffs. So considering that passive that increases the effectiveness of all the buffs, it could be kind of useful, you know. So right here I'm playing a little bit more aggressive than I have to. Like it would be better to just hold the door, because you see I cannot, you see how strong the zombie is, and that's just because of the resilience skin plus the passive. He's like a sponge. He just takes bullets after bullets and he doesn't die. And that's like a skinny zombie, you know. If it was the fat one, he would be like twice as strong pretty much than you saw right there, because he has pretty much almost double the health. And that was without the regen, you know, keep that in mind as well. That was without the regen buff. Now something that's really good about Annette as well, which is why I control the creature so much, is because she has 30%, like I said, for the passive, 30% on all buffs. That will also affect the energy leech that my zombie has right now, for example. So by controlling him, I can make sure that he's gonna actually be useful and get some hits, and that way I can you know, I can use that to build my energy back up, so I can spawn more zombies after his death. So essentially his death gives me more zombies. That's the idea. You also take note of the mods. I haven't commented about that yet, but I'm using the Viro mod there. As you can see, I'm using the discount mod to counter the Viro mod, which increases the cost, and I'm using the power limiter mod, which makes Birkin comes back even faster, and that stacks with the book that I'm using on the equipment. So I think just so you guys know, the book, there's 2 levels to it. There's the level 2 that I'm using, which is like 6 points, and there's the level 1 that costs 2 or 1 point. The level 1 is totally not worth it, like at all. Even as a spare equipment is really not useful at all, because it only reduces by like 10 seconds or something like that the time that it takes to recharge the bioweapon. It's barely noticeable. Now the level 2 like I'm using here is much bigger. It's like 30 seconds or more, you know. It's probably a percentage base, so if you have a longer recharge bioweapon is probably gonna give you more effect. But I tested this on the Watavio, which is the Alex bioweapon, and it was 10 seconds for the book 1, and it was 30 seconds, which is like 3 times as much as the level 1. For the it was like 30 seconds less, so there's definitely a big notice. And you combo that with the power limiter like I'm using here, and it is essentially like almost a minute less, you know, because the power limiter reduces greatly, I believe, the time it takes for the recharge there. So I know they nerfed it a little bit, but it's still definitely worth using on a build like this, the power limiter mod. And you see my hand doesn't, even though I have 3 mods, it really doesn't really like bother me. I can still pretty easily win, you know. It kind of clunks your hand a little bit, but you can still play with it, as you can see here from the videos. And you see right there, it was really just a quick example of the health, but like I mentioned, I don't think you really need it, because it's all about the infection. You don't really need the zombie to stay alive, because you can spawn more. They're cheap, they're skinny, you know, they're very cheap, so it's not a big of a deal if you need to spawn more. So it's not like you need them to be that strong, but that's something you could try using, which is the resilience kit there for even more health if you feel like it. They would be definitely a lot more resistant to the survivor's damage, which can help you infect them more if you're lasting longer, but even then I honestly don't feel like you need to. I feel like the build I'm about to show you right now, which is the final game, is the best one. And you see, I was kind of thinking here about changing. I'm just putting the cheap ones, you know. I'm thinking if I should use the fat one or if I shouldn't use the fat one, because the fat one gives 10 seconds when he dies, you know. And you know, although his health, like, it seems very alluring, it's really, you know, not really, I don't know, it's just not that good, because you give them 10 seconds, you know. So this is the best build right there, with the claws and the book, for sure, by far. The infection, it may not seem like much, but that claw right there makes it take, I think, 5 seconds. If you have all that combo together like I have here, it takes 5 seconds near your zombie for them to get infected, which is pretty much nothing if you think about it. It's like super easy, and that's just staying near you without doing anything, because if you're also swinging at them, that 5 seconds is going to be even less. So in particular, it's going to take 3 hits with 3 swings with this build, and they're going to be level 1 infection. So but even then, like, if you get 2 swings and you just stay near them close enough, you know, it's going to be enough for them to get infected. So essentially it's almost impossible for them to deal to get close to your zombies at all and not get infected in some way, shape, or form, you know. And that's why it's super powerful, because like I mentioned earlier, the infection is everything about this build. This is where it shines. So something I like to do here as well is, you see I spawn zombies right there instead of behind the door. I'm really just going to try to, because like I said, you know, it doesn't matter if they die or not, it's really just about spreading the infection, like I'm doing here. And you see Tyrone got infected already, so that's my 5 seconds gone. They killed, so no time was wasted there, because they gained 5 seconds but they lost 5 seconds. But the thing is, Tyrone is going to keep coughing now, so he's constantly losing 5 seconds, whereas I only lost 1 time, which was for the zombie death. And you see here, you can see right now he's easily level 3 from all those hits that he took. And the idea here is really just to spread to the others. As you can tell, 3 of them are already infected. And you see, if you take note of the clock, they already lost 1 minute, because they start with 5. From all those interactions from 2 doors, they already lost 1 minute of the clock. And you see right now, this is like super good when you're hitting them like a lot like this. They're all together. The infection spreads like crazy. If you get bites like this as well, you see, look at the clock during the game. You see how much it keeps ticking down. You see like negative this, negative that all the time. Like -5, -15, it just keeps going negative. You see, they already lost 2 minutes now. They're at the 3 mark, and they haven't really finished getting all the keys. You see, the swings also take time. Especially, you see right there, that zombie alone by itself got, like, you see with the regen how much stronger he was as well. He lasted much longer, even though he was taking a lot of damage. But you saw there, just that zombie alone
he easily got like pretty much 30 seconds off them before he died, because he did a lot of swings plus the bite plus the amount of infection he's applying and everything. You see the time, how fast it's ticking down. Everyone's infected, level 3 pretty much. It's like encounters like this where they stay near the zombies, it's like they're gonna get infected like super quick. Especially if the team doesn't have a Val as well. It's pretty much kind of impossible, because they can't really handle this with just blue herbs. It's just too much infection. Like every single creature is gonna get them infected. So it's really tough to have the amount of blue herbs that you would need to keep that up, you know. So you see right there, Val probably healed all of them, which, you know, this is when it's at its hardest. It's hardest when they have a Val, especially with Mixtape, because she can keep taking the infection off them. But it's really no big deal, because you can apply the infection back as pretty much as quickly as they take it off. So you see the clock there, we're already at -3 minutes there, and considering they gained 2 minutes from going, you know, to the other area, they pretty much lost already. So you see, the reason why I have the zombie is the armored one is because he's hard to stun because he has the armor. But I guess with the shotgun it really doesn't matter. He's gonna get stunned even if you don't hit him at the weak spots. It's just like pretty stupid in how much knockback the shotgun has. And you see right here, it comes back to the point I was saying about Birking. You see, they're wasting items. There goes one flashbang, and you can also grab them again. You see right there, I did it too early, but if you time that properly, I could have grabbed the Jan as soon as she got up there, because she's invincible until she finishes the animation of getting up. But then you can easily grab her again. So you just need to time it right, and you can keep recycling the grab on the same person over again, and they just have to keep wasting items until they don't have items anymore. But that's the idea. Don't expect to just grab everyone and kill them right away. Your idea at the start is really just to waste them as many items as you can, because the good teams will always have those items. So see, this is the best they can do, is just stay away, especially if they're knockbacking. Like you see, the zombie survived like 6 rounds of the shotgun right there, and he's a skinny one, you know. He had the regen as well, as you could tell. So it's like super strong. Even though I'm not using any items to increase health or to take less damage, they're still like super strong. So that's why I think you don't actually need it. You know, you might as well invest that on the infection. But you know, it's an option if you don't think you need to. You can easily use that on the for this thing, like I showed you, the damage, the resilience skin. And you see, I already got Birkin again. That was probably less than 30 seconds from the last time I used him. And already, you see, I focused on Tyrone as well, because he's the one that can kick me. So I don't want that. So I need to, if I'm gonna grab anyone, it's better be him. So this right now, I actually timed it a little late, so he was able to move before I grabbed him. It was the opposite of the first one. The first one was too slow, and this was it was too fast, and this was too slow. But you see, it doesn't matter. Just keep getting the grabs. See, right now it is that point where they have no more items. Tyrone is pretty far too, so he can't come here and kick me. And see, 40 seconds is kind of about time you leave Birking. But if you can keep grabbing them or doing damage, by all means do it. If you're gonna secure that game that way, you don't, you know, you're not set in stone that you have to absolutely quit him at like a certain time, like 30 seconds or whatnot. And you see, just like that, and that was like, you see, it was pretty hard for them to keep up, and they hadn't even like killed the zombie with Yorick with the card yet, and they will still have to deal with 3 more security devices with the time ticking away like that, and Birkin just spawning over and over again. So you can tell it was pretty tough. And the same thing is for area 3, but on area 3 you're gonna recharge your energy faster, and you're gonna have those liquors with the regen, so it's gonna be a nightmare. But yeah guys, that's the best build for Annette. This last one that I showed you, the last variation. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Take care.